Finding the perfect foundation shade has always been a big issue, especially with brown skin girls. Today we're diving deep into something that really sounds intimidating, and there's a lot of information available on the internet. This is super important, especially if you're a beginner, and I'm talking about finding your foundation shade. For brown skin girls, it sort of becomes a bit more tricky, especially if you have to find that perfect shade that matches your skin tone, and just understanding how it all works can be a bit confusing too. But don't worry, I've got you. This video is going to be your ultimate beginner's guide. We'll be breaking down everything starting from how to find your foundation shade, your undertone, to your different skin types, different foundation finishes, and I'll also be tackling some common problems towards the end of the video. So make sure you're hanging around so that you can learn everything you need to know. So let's get started. Let's start off with the basics, and we're talking about skin tone versus your undertone. I'm sure you're hearing this everywhere, but let me break it down for you a bit more easily. Skin tone and undertone usually sound the same, but trust me, they're completely different. Skin tone is the surface color of the skin. So think about it like light, fair, medium skin, tan skin, or deep skin. So now you've got that, right? But this skin tone can also vary a bit with sun exposure. If you're brown skin, you usually tan, but if you're lighter skin, you would usually burn. This is the effect the sun can have on the skin, and I'm just speaking broadly. But in order to perfect that foundation shade, you need to focus on your undertone. So just think of this as your skin color, but the undertone is the hue underneath the skin tone, and that will not change at all. That stays permanent. Skin tone can vary with sun exposure, but undertones will not change. I hope you've got this so far. Now that you've nailed this, let's go into the three main broad spectrum types of undertones. So if you hear warm undertone, think about golden, yellow, or peach hues. If you are cool undertone, think about pink, blue, or reddish hues. But if you're neutral, like I am, you'll have a balance of both warm and cool. Some people with brown skin will also have olive undertones. Now that is a bit unique, but it's still so beautiful. I would like to describe an olive undertone as greenish or grayish yellow, and that usually falls between warm and neutral. So now you're asking me, Prunella, how do I find my undertone? If your brown skin is just a bit more trickier, but let's get into the 4 broad tests that I as a professional makeup artist love to teach my clients. So first is we look at our veins, but make sure you're looking at them in natural light, not under fluorescent light or studio lighting. If they look green, you're mostly a warm undertone, but if they look blue or purple, you're a cool undertone. But if you're neutral like me, you can't see a big difference. But I know if you're a deeper skin tone, like I've experienced with my clients, it might be a bit hard to read the color of your veins. So let's get into the other tests. The second one is the jewelry test. If gold jewelry tends to flatter your skin tone, it'll make you look a bit more radiant. And if that's the case, you're a warm or olive undertone. But if silver or platinum suits you better, you're likely cool. And as you can see, I'm wearing both styles. I've got gold and I've got silver. And both of them tend to look great on me because I'm a neutral undertone. If you're still not sure about this test, let's do the white and off-white test. Go and grab a pure white paper or even a clothing if it's off-white or cream. Now hold this paper next to your skin in natural light. Now, does pure white make your skin look washed out or grayish, but off-white looks better? In that case, you might be a warm or olive undertone. But if pure white looks crisp and flattering on your skin tone, but off-white makes you look sallow and dull, you might be cool. But if white and off-white look fine, neutral is your best bet. And finally, it's a sun reaction test. Now, I'm not expecting you to go and sit in the sun and bake, because that's not what we are doing. But generally, how do you think your skin reacts to the sun? If you tan easily like me and you rarely burn, you're likely to have warm and neutral undertones. But if you tend to burn easily or tan minimally before burning, you might lean towards a cool undertone. Remember to always use sunscreen though. That is a must, non-negotiable. Now you've got your undertone figured out. So now how do you find your foundation shade? Now I've had so many questions about how to get the foundation shade, which one matches me, what's the finish. Let's deal with all of that shortly. So the first question I always get is, how do I know my foundation shade, or what shade should I actually choose? I just don't want you to go into any store and pick a shade that looks like you. Many stores now have a foundation tester underneath the product or next to it. So make sure you're always swatching it. But just don't swatch it anywhere. Do not swatch it on your hand or arm because your limbs tend to darken up a bit more faster than your face. The best place I feel is your jawline or your neck. But if your chest is exposed a bit, it's good to swatch here too. And when you're swatching, don't only go with one shade. Go with 3 different shades that look close. And when you're in natural light and you're blending out the foundation, you want it to disappear completely into your skin. But remember, this is still wet. So give it a few minutes to dry down so that you can see if it's changing color, which is oxidization, once they dry up. The next question is, how do I match my undertone? That is such an important question. I have literally wasted my money on so many products. It's crazy. So I just want to help you out as much as I can. Most brands on their labels have made our lives so much more easier. They usually label it now. So for example, my Patrick Ta shows 18 golden neutral, so it's written there. My Huda Beauty says 400G. I know G is golden, but somehow it works on my skin tone. And if a C is written on the bottle, that usually stands for cool. Some brands even use names like golden or beige, and those lean towards warm and neutral. Rose or porcelain is towards the cool section, but if you're brown skin like I am, I usually look for descriptions such as golden, caramel, tan. Chestnut usually goes for warm tones. Neutral beige, praline can be neutral. The next question I get is it better to go for a lighter foundation or a deeper foundation? I would recommend not doing either. You really want to find a shade that matches you perfectly. If you're really stuck between the two, like really stuck, some makeup artists I've seen suggest going a shade lighter because it's usually easier to correct. Say you can use a bronzer or somehow make it darker. But if you go for a shade that's too dark, it can look very muddy. So try to find your perfect shade. And then finally, I also get questioned about this, is how do I find my foundation shade if I've got uneven skin tone? Hyperpigmentation is a common issue amongst us brown skin girls. I have it too, and I'm struggling with it. Avoid matching the darkest or lightest part of your face. You want to find a shade that matches the overall tone of your skin, and always swatch it either on the jawline or on the chest. A foundation just evens out your base, and color correctors are there to hide any hyperpigmentation. This segment is also important because we're dealing about skin types. Now you must be wondering, why do I need to know about my skin type? But trust me, your foundation needs to work well with your skin and not against it. So let's figure this out together. The first question is, how do you know your skin type? In the morning or the night, you wash your face, right? And once you wait for around 30 minutes or even 15 minutes and you don't apply any products, how do you think your skin feels? Does it feel greasy or shiny? Especially in the T-zone. If that's the case, you're most likely oily. But if your skin looks dull, flaky, or it even feels tight, you're a dry skin type. But if you get oily just in the T-zone and dry on the rest of your face, you're a combination skin type. If you're normal, it usually should feel balanced. It shouldn't be too oily or too dry. But if you're sensitive, it will react quickly. It could get red or itchy, not only with your cleanser, but with any product that you might use. So I hope this has helped you understand a bit about your skin type. Leave in the comment what you think your skin type is. So now let's get to finding the foundation that suits your skin type. If you're an oily skin type, you want to look for descriptions that say oil-free, matte, mattifying. Usually powder foundations work great with this skin type. Now if you're a dry skin type, you need a hydrating foundation. So look for Luminous, Dewy, hydrating, radiant finishes. Cream foundations, serum foundations, or hydrating liquid formulas work extremely well. Now, if you're a combination skin type, it can be slightly tricky. Look for something that says satin finish, natural, and just as a tip, you can also use a mattifying primer just at your T-zone to help with oiliness. Now, if you're normal skin, you're completely lucky. Anything will literally suit you. It just depends the kind of look that you want. But if you're sensitive, look for words like hypoallergenic, fragrance-free, mineral makeup, because these can sometimes work well for that kind of skin type. Let's decode foundation finishes and also the coverage. The Anastasia Beverly Hills Impeccable foundation tends to go a bit matte on my skin, so I'll be applying it on this side of the face. This basically gives you a no shine look, and it is also not velvety. This is my summer shade, so it can be a bit off right now, and usually matte foundations are great for oily skin types. And if you want a very done up look, say you're going out in the evening or you're attending parties or weddings, this finish is the one for you. But just be careful, if you've got a lot of texture, it could emphasize that a bit more. So a quick tip for that is to exfoliate the previous night. So as you can see, it is not dewy. That is just my skin showing through. It has no shine. So this side was the Anastasia Beverly Hills Impeccable foundation. Now if you've got a dryish skin type like I do in winter, I go in for the Luminous foundation. I'm using Patrick Ta's foundation on this side, and I'm taking my Huda Beauty foundation brush and I'm going to be applying it. You can see that instant glow. Just look at that. That's what dewy and luminous foundations show up like. I usually love this kind of finish for my skin because in a way it sort of makes it look healthy as well without having to do too much. Again, this can emphasize texture if not applied correctly. So you can see the big difference here. This is matte and this is dewy. I love this glow. It's so good. If you don't like too much of a glow, you can always set it with powder. And a natural finish would be a blend of the two. So it looks very skin-like and it is versatile for most skin types. Now let's quickly talk about coverage, okay? Some of the skin tints or foundation balms will have a sheer-like coverage. It just evens out the skin tone slightly and it will help show your natural skin. A medium coverage foundation will cover imperfections slightly, but it will still look skin-like. And you'd often hear brands saying it's buildable, meaning you can build up the coverage as much as you like. And then a full coverage means it covers everything. I feel the ABH Impeccable is sort of full coverage for me because it hides everything and it gives you that flawless look. I removed the previous foundation I applied and it looked perfect. But now you can see how both sides look different. One side has gone slightly darker. That is called oxidization. But now why does this happen? I put it down to two main issues. One is air exposure. So basically the pigments or the ingredients in the foundation are reacting with the air. So it changes color. And the second thing is your skin chemistry. The oils that are generated on the skin and also the pH levels will react with your foundation, which will also change color. But now you must be asking, Prunella, how do I fix it? Or how do I deal with it? It's easy. One, you need to swatch it on your skin and wait. You should do this when you're testing your shades. Second, I always suggest using a primer because that will create a barrier between your skin and your foundation. And if you've got very oily skin, you want to prep it well. You can also control it by using blotting papers. Now, before we go into the application tips and tricks, I want to talk to you about creasing. I normally tend to crease in common areas like the smile lines, underneath the eyes, forehead lines, and I don't have Botox. And it is completely natural as we are aging. But let's figure out why it happens in the first place. As we get older, the elasticity in our skin tends to reduce. And there's a reduction in collagen too. So the skin becomes loose. Skin also tends to get a bit drier, which makes creasing a bit more noticeable. So to avoid it, you can use less product. You can prep your skin well and don't use formulas that are too thick and dry. And this I'm talking about skincare too. Make sure your skin is very hydrated. Well prepped skin will actually show through your foundation. Now that we have got the hydration part sorted, I would suggest using a primer. These are two of my favorite primers, the Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm and also the Huda Beauty Easy Blur Primer. If you use too much of primers, your foundation can pill, meaning you get those balls on your face which go into your hair and make it look terrible. And when you're applying primer, make sure you're dabbing it in. And when you're applying your foundation and concealer, start with less product first. Because if you apply it properly, you will build up coverage only where it's needed. Not everywhere. And always use good foundation tools to blend it in. Fingers will give you a skin-like finish. A brush will give you more added coverage. And a sponge makes it look more even. Now that you've stayed till the end of the video, I want to share some pro tips with you, even if you're not a pro makeup artist. These work perfectly for beginners. Okay, so the first step is that you need to prep your skin. I keep hammering this point in everyone, but it is so important. Even if you have to do just 3 steps, make sure you're cleansing, moisturizing, and apply a primer. And if you've seen my previous videos, the next step I always suggest is you apply foundation from the center of your face going outwards. That's because usually we have more hyperpigmentation towards the center of the face. So in that way, you're going to get maximum coverage where you need it and blend it out to the rest of the face. It's never going to look heavy or cakey. The next step is to choose your tools. If you want a brush, like I said, it'll give you a fuller coverage. But when you're applying it with a brush, you can use stippling motions and you don't want to drag it because otherwise you're moving foundation from here to this part of the face. So you're wasting time. If you want to use your fingers, please do so. Just make sure they're clean. And if you're applying foundation on the face, it'll give you a very natural finish. The warmth of your hands will help blend the foundation easily. And if you're going to use a sponge, make sure it's damp. That'll give you a seamless airbrushed finish. Next point is, don't forget to blend down your neck. You will have two different colors otherwise. And you don't want to have a weird, strange line on the jawline either. And no one tells you this, but make sure you're applying some foundation to the ears. Otherwise, it can look pink and your face will look tan. And if you're oily or you want really long wearing foundation, that's when you can use a setting powder. Again, you want to apply it lightly on the T-zone or on the areas where you get oily. Apply some on the spine lines and underneath the eyes to prevent any creasing. And that's it, guys. This is the ultimate beginner's guide for foundation, especially if you've got these beautiful, gorgeous brown skin tones. So as I said, we have covered skin tones, undertones, finishes, your skin type, oxidization, and how to even prevent creasing. Wow. That was quite a bit, but I really hope you enjoyed this video. And as always, if you liked it, please hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribing, and I'll see you again in my next video. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Leave a comment below, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye. Have a good one.